Gentlemen, if you're earning over $100,000 a year and you want to go from tits to pecs, this video is for you. Now I'm going to walk you through my 5-step framework of a body assessment, training, nutrition, psychology and mindset, and strategy to get you to that place sustainably. Now most of you dudes are used to juice cleansers, crash and burn diets, keto's a big one, carnivore is an even bigger one, and it's a very silly waste of time. But you know, as soon as you stop doing those things, you put the weight all the way back on. So I want to walk you through how to do this as someone whose career is priority number 1 and health and fitness is number 2, all whilst getting you the same outcomes. How do I know this? I used to be you. Not only that, I've helped transform over 1,600 lives, all whilst running a high 6-figure company. So I know what it takes. Let's walk through the current barriers that you're probably experiencing. Age, anywhere from 30 to 70 and beyond, but this is doable. Chances are if you're probably 70, you're not going to watch this, you're not going to buy my the video doesn't apply to you. But if you're anywhere in this range, this is gonna work. So body fat percentages. If you are 40 to 20% body fat, you should be focusing on this off as soon as possible to get to a 20% starting point. There are a few ways you can do this. If you're in the 40% range, largely a kilo a week is gonna be good progress. 2 kilos a week, superb, but you will be starving, and if you hit one speed bump and you're typically not someone that can stick to something for very long, you're gonna struggle. So anywhere from 750 to a kilogram of fat loss per week is the best way to cut the weight off to go from 20 to 40. Now this video is gonna have annotated the key things that you should focus on. Now you can skip to whatever relevant section you need in order to make this make sense. So let's say your name's Barry, Baz for short, okay? So Baz, let's say you weigh 130 kilos and you are my height at 6 foot. You would probably be able to shed to 80 kilos to see some form of pecs start to shape. Yes, I know there's a lot of fat there, but I've been doing this for a very long time. 80 to 85 kilos is probably where you start to see pecs. Sad story at 6 foot tall. I know. I'm 95 current day and pecs are clearly outlined, shoulders are defined, and abs are visible. So this here, if you're quick, can take you about 26 weeks. If you're moderate, can take you 36. And if you're probably pretty reasonable, will take you 52. Anywhere in that range, I say, is a positive, because if you're at 130 kegaroonies, there's some dramas, and you probably put your career and everything else ahead of yourself, so you've got a bit of backlog. But good news is you've got some cash to spend to be able to solve the problem faster. So if I'm you, I'm working on nutrition first to get off the first 20 kilos. Now you can do this in any which way, but I recommend doing it in a way that you can stick to for life. So I recommend flexible dieting, because eventually you can become the healthiest man ever, but usually trying to knock down 20,000 different things at once isn't the best laid plan. Just like you running your business or leading your team, you know things follow in a sequence. If done correctly, they'll stick, versus if rushed, not good. So this will largely look like 2,500 to 3,500 calories a day with around 200 grams of protein per day as well. You can stick to that largely. Those calories, you'd probably start at 35. Then at the midpoint when you lost 10, you'd go down to 3,000. And then towards the tail end, you'd do 2,500 to get at least the first 20 off. You stick to 200 grams of protein no matter what. Sometimes you can go over, that's totally okay. But this is how you'd largely lose the first 20. That would then get you to 110. If you're at 110 kilos and largely like 30% body fat, let's just say, right? This is where you'd start the gym, and you'd only start with 2 sessions per week, okay? Because you put yourself on the back burner for so many years, there's debts to be paid. Just like if you don't pay the ATO, there's interest. You've just accrued a load of interest, my friend. Time to cough up. This and 2,500 calories roughly should be able to take you to the 95 to 100 range. In this time, you'd want these 2 sessions to be whole body, WB. Reason why you'd want whole body is because if you try to do a bro split, chest on one day, back on another, legs on another, and let's say you miss something because of work and you don't have the consistency down pat, well then you miss training that body part for a whole week. Not good when you're starting out, especially if you want more pecs and more sex. From this point, at the 95-100, you should be largely in the 20% body fat range, roughly, which means, again, we'd probably be looking at anywhere from 19, I know this is low, to 2,200 calories per day. Protein stays the same at 200. Now, in this time, you'd want to step up to 3 days. You can build a excellent body on 3 days worth of training. I would still recommend whole body, but if you want big mask pecs, you would want to start doing a bit more chest centric stuff. So maybe you'd go 2 exercises for legs lower, 2 exercises for back, and 2 for chest, and 1 for like shoulders. A bit more upper body focus. That would allow you to lean out and start to finally see the pecs as you get to the 80 to 85 zone. Congratulations. Now this process should take you anywhere from 26 weeks to 52 weeks, sometimes more if you love a drink on the weekend, things like that. You don't want to cut out all of your joy in your life. However, if you're a man and you're still drinking, safe to say it's going to be shooting you in the foot somewhere along the line. You've made a conscious decision to go, I'm going to exchange my dopamine and my mental health and well-being for short-term gain. So largely decisions that flow on beyond that are going to be more short-term dopaminergic. The goal is to try and bring down your reliance on dopamine. So this is exactly what I do. Now, once you get to the 80, again, we'd keep you 3 days and we would work to increase your calories back up to 2,500 for maintenance. And that would largely be like a negative or positive depending on the day. And if you wanted to increase this and increase your food, you just increase steps. If you're a bloke that is short on time, you are going to get a meal prep company, meal box company. This is largely the strategy. For the first 3 to 6 months, you are going to buy meal prep. I'm talking about probably 12 to 18 meals per week. That is going to be the primary basis. Now, if you're someone that loves a coffee in the morning, you love going to the cafe, you love a B&E roll before you go to work and a latte, you can fit that in, but just know for your calories, you'll probably have to divide it up into thirds. So the way you're going to break this up is going to be 750 for breakfast, 750 for lunch, probably 800 at dinner, maybe even more, because your missus is going to be cooking your dinner largely and she's probably going to do over the calories. Now, if she's one of those missuses that will just weigh everything and prep everything, bingo bango, you can largely off this meal prep service, which is great. I would just get it going for lunch, personally, if I'm you. Because let's face it, if you've got a meal prep that you really, really enjoy at your work, when you go to work, or you can leave it in the fridge, it'll last longer. So if you forget breakfast or you forget lunch or things like that, you have a backup. Failure to plan is planning to fail, they say, right? Much the same. You want a backup for the backup, okay? So if the missus go, Davo, Barry, I can't cook your dinner. No sweat, I can't cook your lunch. Leftovers are gone. The kids smashed them. Whatever, we've got to leave it for little Timmy. No stress. You've got your meal prep boxes here. You've just got your lunch covered. And you nail those. They're 500 or 600 calories, what I would do. 5 to 6, and I'd add fruit, 2 pieces in there. That would largely keep you out of trouble. Now, where most men go wrong here, the strategy and the mindset piece. You guys think if you can lose your first 10, you've lost your next 10. Each 10 kilo allotment is going to come with its different strategies and pain points. One, because the passage of time is going to pass. If your kids, your missus are going to have different needs than what you have day one. So you will need to adjust the plan according to that. Number 2, you will be hungrier at certain points and you will need to, each 10 kilos, then refine how you approach your diet every single time. Calories are cool, but it all depends on what they're composed of. If you've got 750 calories, which is carbohydrates, largely it's not going to keep you full enough for long enough. So you'll be chasing down the fridge or stopping in at the server on the way home from work or getting some from the vending machine from the train station if you are a commuter, or maybe asking your driver to pull over at the service station, whatever it is for you. So just understand that at each 10 kilos, things are going to change. You're going to feel particularly different. You're going to feel unmotivated at some days. By and large, this should feel pretty smooth if you follow the previous procedure that I laid out, 10 to 20 sort of kilo allotments and what to do and where to ramp up. But don't go in here thinking that is a race to the bottom. If you do this once, you do it right, you will be in good nick forever, and you will turn your chest and your man boobs into pecs forever. There's a big reason why you should build out your lifestyle and your goals like you build out your business. Because if you build your business with a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year vision, like a Toyota or Coca-Cola, you're going to last that long. You're going to make decisions that impact you in the future, not the here and now. It's when people plan for 16-week blasts and then they lose 16 kilos and they go, cool, what now? And they've got no clue. Nothing to keep them moving, nothing churning them over, and no goal. And they've also probably got there in a really unsustainable, unenjoyable way, usually around starvation if you're a bloke. At this time also, your testosterone probably will have dropped some significant degree because you're exhausted and tired and you haven't done this right. We've covered the training, we've covered the calories and the nutrition that you guys need to follow, and also the mindset. You need to go into this with 10 kilo allotments, one big goal, but broken down into tiny little goals to make sure this is doable, and also to change change the action plan as you see fit, because your fat loss is going to be dynamic. Especially when you get to the end, when you go, yippee, I can finally stop dieting. Guess what happens? Your hunger cues drive up, you start eating dumb. It's just largely a plan for you to go all the way back. That's why coaching exists. Again, to teach you how to do it in a sequenced way that feels rather smooth and rather easy, instead of having to do this all yourself. So lads, hopefully you found this video helpful. I wish you nothing but the best on trying to go from tits to pecs. It's doable as a dude earning 6 figures or 7 figures or even 8, 9, 20,000 million figures. But think about buying back your time. Think about it in terms of systems. Think about it in terms of minimum output to get max result. You do not want to just start blasting away because you're motivated. You want this motivation to last for the rest of your life. So treat it that way. Treat it like your business. Treat it like your team. Nurture it. Give it a little bit of time. Don't try and max out the time thing just to get a short-term reward, because it'll shoot you in the foot. Take your time with it, be intentional, structure it out, and just be aware of these things. Hope this helps.